everyone. How's the blood pressure? We all okay? That's I'm not sleeping tonight. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight. Welcome to the instant match reaction. Leeds United 2. Manchester United 1. Leeds' first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League on the top flight since 1981, since the year that I was born. Was the last time the Leeds got a win in the league there. So absolutely huge tonight. Massive result. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Yeah, it wasn't pretty at the end. Yeah, they make us live on our nerves the entire time. And yes, my voice is gone from the watch along. But that is huge. Because in all the predictions and even predictions before the game, I didn't think that this was even a game that we would even talk about. I was fully prepared to come on here after losing or drawing and saying, that's all right. Not that important. The next three are more important. But now, all of a sudden, after all the things that were said coming into the weekend, after all the panic of West Ham United getting a result and people thinking that's Leeds in trouble now, Leeds are now 6 points away from the relegation zone with 6 games to play. And our next games are Wolves, Bournemouth, Burnley. Now, if we end up bottling it from this position, we deserve to stay in the Championship. But this side have shown this season repeatedly that they've got bottle, that they've got character, that they can dig in when they need to dig in. And by Jesus, did they dig into tonight. I have said all year and most of last year that this Leeds team is at its best when they attack. All of our good stuff in the first half came from being on the front foot and attacking. The second half, it gets a bit edgy because we're sitting back and sitting deep. And I can understand the reasons why we sat back. And I understand why the players have dropped in a bit because, you know, it's in the relegation fight and it's a massive 3 points to get. So if I'm talking a bit quick, I'll try and slow down. Bear with me. Sorry, my blood pressure's through the roof. I'm really excited. I feel angry excited. Like I want to walk out my front garden and just go, you know, that kind of excited. Because it's huge. It's huge in the context of the grand scheme of the whole thing. 3 points away at Old Trafford. Massive. I'm going to keep saying massive. I'll probably say massive. Every time I say massive, to have a shot. There you go. We'll get into it. We'll talk about the game. But just initial thoughts off the top of my head are that could be one of the most important points. People have talked about Burnley away. People have talked about Sunderland at home. And people have ignored Liverpool draw away from home, beating Chelsea. They've ignored those results. And for every Sunderland defeat at home, there was a Chelsea win at home. For every Burnley defeat or Sunderland draw, there was a Liverpool draw, 2 draws against Liverpool, or draw on the road against Chelsea, or win against Newcastle. But they've shown that they're good against the top sides this season. We've struggled against the sides down the bottom. That's the reality of the situation. We've been better against the sides at the top. And that's a huge result for Leeds United to go to Old Trafford, to start the way we started. And we could have been 4 up at half time. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not hyperbole. It's not being overly dramatic. We could have and probably should have been at least 3-0 up at half time, if not 4-0 up at half time. But we weren't. And yeah, just nuts. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, people talking about the referee had a good game. I will get into your comments as we go through this, but we'll give you the top line information because we'll clip it out for the audio. But yeah, huge game of football for Leeds United. Some massive performances. Carl Darlow deserves a massive shout out for the work that he did tonight. Some massive saves by him towards the back. Again, there's massive again. Sorry, I'm overusing the same word. But yeah, huge moments, huge saves by Carl Darlow tonight. I thought Dominic Calvert-Lewin's work rate off the ball, Ethan Ampadu's work rate off the ball, I thought Brendan Aronson's work rate off the ball, the Jayden Bogle ran himself into the ground. Yakubov for 99% of the game managed Sesko to keep him relatively quiet. Question marks around why we didn't deal with Casemiro at the back post a few times. Question marks around why we're not trying to close Bruno Fernandes down earlier and stop him getting those balls into the box. The boy can put a football on a sixpence. I hate saying it. I can't stand him, but he is a very gifted footballer and can pick a pass out all day. If you give him time, he's going to cause you problems. They're the criticisms. That's it. Outside of that, for me, I thought first half, one of the best performances I've seen from Leeds against a top opposition in a very, very, very long time. They were dangerous. They were committed. They were winning first balls, winning second balls, intercepting passes, blocking passing lanes, ran themselves into the absolute ground, created a ton of chances, and a really good first half. And then the fear was always going to be, do we sit back in the second half? And if you look at the momentum graph for those watching below, there's 2 sides to this. We probably sat back a little bit, but they were always going to come and have a proper go, shoot into Stretford end the second half. They were going to do that. They were going to push us back. So I think there's a bit of both in that, to be fair and balanced. The red card happens and then we get a bit more possession. But we didn't really ever pick the tempo up again after the red card to where it was in the first half. And maybe we just couldn't. Maybe it wasn't in the legs. Maybe we're trying to manage the game out a little bit. But that puts you under a little bit of pressure. Then there's a huge amount of pressure comes on us from Manchester United. They get their goal. And then we're living on our nerves. 7 minutes injury time. But Leeds will never make it simple for you. And you are absolutely living on your nerves for way too long, and every little tackle, every corner kick, and I've said it all season, we give away too many corner kicks and we concede too many crosses. We do. And they make us nervous. But they still dug in. They still minimized the chances. They were half chances, scrappy chances, very little clear cut from them. And Carl Darlow makes a big save at a big moment. Dominic Calvert-Lewin clears 2 balls off the line. Very big moment as well. Ethan Ampadu puts his laces through a ball bouncing around the penalty area at one point as well. All great stuff. So there's a huge amount of good stuff there. Again, in a game that I thought, and I wasn't bothered by it, I thought, we won't get anything from this game. I don't care. Because 7 points in the next 3 keeps us up. And now 7 points in the next 3 keeps us comfortably up. We've got to go and win those games, of course. We've got to go and approach them the right way and get at teams quickly and push them back and try and score goals and play the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes of this game. But it's a massive performance from Leeds United. There's that word again. Massive. Sorry, I know I'm repeating the same word. I'm just a little bit hyper. I am. Because that's huge. It is. It's absolutely huge. And it puts us in a really strong position now. Go on. We'll look at the league table now in a second. I'll throw it up for you as well. And we'll talk about your comments. But if you go through the game, pre-match talk, and what's coming into the game, there was the injury talk around Yacobi all around. Gabby Goodmunson and Okafor. Gabby, very good first half going forward. Was leaving gaps in behind for Ahmed to get in. Second half, boxed that off, closed it off. Excellent second half by Gabby Goodmunson. Very good attacking first half from Gabby Goodmunson. Yacobi all excellent. Very important in that back line. James Justin, the right-hand side. Never going to be as comfortable as Joe Rodon there, but a very good game. And Noah Okafor coming back in. What a game. What a game. His first goal is not only a lovely half volley, but it's a nutmeg as well into the corner. And very little time to react to that. And then the second goal takes a bit of a deflection, but you want to make your name in Leeds United history, score twice in Old Trafford. And Okafor, fantastic, ran himself into the ground, then was very dangerous going forward. Willie Nanto, by the way, when he came on for him, really, really good as well. The other conversation before the game was Tanaka starting or Gruev. I thought he'd go with Gruev and be defensive. He puts Tanaka in there. Thought Tanaka was excellent in the first half. Absolutely fantastic. He gets tired in the second half, and you can see it. And then eventually goes off with cramp. The other conversations were when Manchester United side, would Mbeumo play? Would Sesko play? Would Martinez play? Martinez did play. And you got to give credit. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but Tanaka has an open goal only for the work rate that he puts in to clear that ball off the line. It's a fantastic clearance. I hate saying it. But it is a good clearance off the line. Then he gets sent off for hair pulling. How do we feel about that? I don't know how. Again, if that was a Leeds player getting sent off for that, I'd be thinking that's really soft. It's Martinez, so I don't care. I'm delighted he got sent off. But it doesn't look like a red card to me. But yeah, I don't care. We got it anyway. And then everything else before it was anything other than a loss was a positive result. And that's assuming it was going to even be a draw. That's a positive point given the weekend the way it's gone, away from home. And you get 3. And then performance over everything was going to be important. I'd written down before the game, don't sit back. And we sat back a little bit. But we didn't start sitting back. And we were brave and on the front foot. And that was great. Overall, performance-wise, fantastic first half that gave us the gap to maybe have to sit in a little bit. I'm annoyed about the goal we conceded, but ultimately, I still think there's a huge amount of work rate. I still think they defended ultimately pretty well against a very good attack. And that is a really good attack. And managed the game out. So yeah, overall performance really good. Individually going through them, Carl Darlow, phenomenal performance for me. Makes the saves in the first half that he has to make. And then makes some big saves in the second half to keep Leeds United in the game. Huge from him. 3 centre-backs. Pascal Struijk got turned once or twice in the first half, but ultimately won his headers. Good out from the back. Blocked past the lanes, intercepted when he needed to. Good game by him. Yacobi, one moment when he gets turned inside out by Sesko, but outside of that, he manages Sesko. Another striker to add to the list of strikers that Biel has handled this season. And James Justin was fine. Give us a good option going forward as well. Good backup for Jayden Bogle. Really, really good. Then Bogle ran himself into the absolute ground. Could he have scored a couple? Probably should have scored at least one. There's that chance in the first half where he just needs to shoot instead of taking a touch. Takes a touch, loses space. Second half as well, maybe needs to kick the ball, shoot a bit earlier or release the ball a bit earlier. Tries to check inside a couple of times, loses it a few times. So But outside that, his work rate was phenomenal. Up and down the park, getting back to defend again. Excellent stuff. And Gabby Goodmunson, yeah, I've already talked about him. I thought he had a very good first half going forward, but he was leaving space in behind for Diallo to get in a couple of times. Second half, boxed that off. Handled Mbermo all right in the second half, but he was tired at that point, and Mbermo was dangerous. But good game by Gabby. Tanaka, outstanding in the first half. Got tired the second half, but what a first half by Tanaka. It needs to start every game between now and the end of the season. I don't think there's even an argument anymore about it. He needs to play. Ethan Ampadu, really good, really solid block again, passing lanes, interceptions, second balls, got us out when we needed to get out, put his laces through, did the simple thing well. The odd little misplaced pass, but ultimately far calmer than he's been against some of the sides in the top 6 this season. Really good game by him. Brendan Aronson, work rate tonight, ran his socks off, closed down, pressed them the first half specifically, forced mistakes, made them kick it long. Tidy enough in possession when he got it. Noah Okafor, huge impact in the game. And DCL should have had 2. Definitely should have scored twice. However, I thought his flick-ons in the first half, his hold of play in the first half specifically was excellent. His work rate in the second half was excellent. His 2 clearances off the line were massive. Should have scored. The header in the second half, if it goes left or right, it's a goal. It's too easy a header straight at the goalkeeper. There's not a lot of pace in the cross. I get that, but it's still too close. And then in the first half, he should score as well. So he's 2 moments in the game where he should have scored, but ultimately, all the rest of his game was really, really good. Referee thought he had a very good game. In general, fine. Got the big calls right, I think. Probably got some of the lesser big calls in our favor as well, so we'll take that. And where it leaves us, well, it leaves us in a far more positive position than we even came into this weekend. And I'm going to flash it up on the screen so we can have a little talk. If you're on the audio, I'll walk you through it. So, yeah. Once my PC decides to wake up because it's not handling what's going on right now. It's had a busy night. There we go. You can see that. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. I'll just do it at the bottom of the table because the rest of it doesn't really matter, does it? Here we go. Well, there you go. Leeds United now 6 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur. Leeds are 4 points still ahead of West Ham United and 3 points ahead of Nottingham Forest. And we're catching up with Newcastle. Arguably, Leeds are 4 points away from safety. I think it'll be 42. So I think you're still looking at 6 points needed to have 100% guaranteed safety. The next 3 are massive. Got to beat Wolves at home. You got to beat Burnley at home. You win those 2 games, you're safe. Done. Game over with games to spare. You can go and enjoy yourself. You've got to win those 2. And then it doesn't matter about the rest of them. Leave the rest of them to it. So, yeah, huge performance by the players. Got it right tonight. Well done to them. Good stuff. We'll go back to your comments. We'll try and get a couple of early ones in, and then we'll get to the very more recent ones, which I don't like people coming in early and making comments, and then we missed them at the end. When he said, "What am I watching? What a first half from Leeds. Brilliant response, lads. Love it." One, he says, "Nanto is such a talented player, but has no brain or football intelligence. So frustrating. I think at times you just want him to push the ball past people early and run them, and he tries to take them on." The Arger Gamer and Breed think I might need a new pacemaker. Yes, everyone's really happy with this. Huge, staying in it. And what we think now, 1 more win, 2 more for me, mate. 2 more for me. Paul says, "Well, had to turn it off at 2-1. I didn't have the stomach for it." You need the stomach. This is where we need you to have a stomach. These games, this time of the year. Pat Kirby says, "I'm all over the place. Delighted isn't a good enough word. Furious at the tippy-tappy midfield nonsense before they scored. Hilarious sending off. Fabulous goals. Disappointed not to have had 6. Beaten scum. 1 away. I'll never sleep again. Thank Jesus for DCL on the back line," says NY Jobs. Elius Taz says, "I feel very happy, but not very well. That'll do," says Lecce Badger. PBS says 2 words. Been brilliant. Yeah. And Terry McCann says, "What a result, my God." Yeah, I was there with you, Terry. Holy cow. We just get away with that. We got away with it. We need to crush the next 3 for games to scare on. What have we got? Leeds 860 says, "It would be nice to send either Spurs or West Ham down." I don't care about any of them. I don't care. I just want us to be safe. That's all I need. I live in between 2 scum supporters. Both are like their team. I have some very close friends who happen to be Manchester United fans. So yeah, 45 years Yep, exactly. My birthday. It says Leeds boy. Huge. Come on, Leeds. Mental that. Edge of your seat stuff. Always is with Leeds. Yeah. Liverpool, Chelsea, scum, unbeaten. Isn't that just nuts to say out loud? Like, take a second. And again, take the moment to realize all the disappointing results. Away to Burnley, home to Sunderland, right? Away to Brighton, away to Nottingham Forest. And then look at that. This team have got it in them. I've been saying it for a while. Backbone to carry this, and they are, and it's brilliant. Immortal Reaper said, massive win that. And I said this morning, I'd be happy if we kept the score down against us. I'd take a draw. I said this morning, I actually predicted a defeat. I'm delighted I'm wrong. I'm so happy when I'm wrong and Leeds prove me wrong. Can't wait for tomorrow. Yeah. Beat Man United Old Trafford. Completed it, mate. Enjoy this. Enjoy this. 85 cents for a stinky soda says, why can't we finish teams off and see out games? That wasn't good for the nerves. Delighted with the win, of course. Now we need to avoid doing a Leeds and messing it up against Wolves and Burnley. But this season, we haven't really done a Leeds. And we get some more recent comments as well. So I'm sorry if I am missing your comments. There's a load of people in tonight. By the way, there's 880 of you watching. If you could press the like button, it's completely free. Do me a solid. That would be massively appreciated. A little thumbs up down below. And it does a huge favor for me in this channel. Really appreciate that. Heroic Dale says 7 points from the next 3 games. That's the one I'm looking at. Pips says, did you see the half and half scarf? That entire stand needs to be. Who's the market for that? We talked about in the watch along. What's your demographic for that scarf? Yeah. DJG says long trip back to Hampshire for the Scum fans. Good. Yeah, well, Hampshire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good show. Paul Brennan says stay focused against Wolves. This is massive win for Leeds United. Come on, Leeds, keep fighting. First since 1981, Daniel Farke has Michael Carrick in his back pocket. He hasn't beaten Farke in a league game. He's only beaten him once in the cup. Farke's 5-1, 5-1 over Michael Carrick. Jay Snail says, what a massive result. Really needed that. Boost us on for the next handful of games. Need 3 more. May be safe and need all we can get. Yeah, well, let's get what we can. Yeah, we can win the FA Cup. Stop it, Lee. Stop it. 85 cents for us thinking. So the Spurs or West Ham in the championship with the big stadiums would be so funny. We've been there. Steve says, has it finished yet? Can I come out? What a game. Was a great game. Neil says, what a win. Score freely in the first half at least. Yeah, we did. We did. God is in his heaven and all is well, says Linda. Listen to those Cockney cheers. Yep. 4 more points and we've done it. IPW. 12 Bob Man United. Yep, there you go. Lordy Lou says, Lee. Good evening, Lee. Hope you're well, pal. We're 2 points better off than any of us expected and deserve to 100% face. Nailed on. Paul Brody. The only time I say that I would settle for a draw, we beat Scum. Yep. Win Wolves and Burnley, and we hope we're home and dry. Home and dry. Paul says, hello, folks. I'm still on cloud 9. Absolutely fantastic with Daniel Farke and the lads. Whole team gave everything for that. They did. Pat Kirby says, who thinks Tierney refs in general have been tapped on the shoulder and told to wind their necks in against us and maybe other clubs? Far fewer ridiculous decisions around. Yeah, I agree. On the money tonight. That B Rejects said, I don't think we need 42. No way on earth Spurs are getting 12 with games they have left. Yeah, but you just don't want us to be the one that would go, oh, Jesus, I didn't think they'd get that. And they did. You know, just give yourself breathing room, you know. Led Zepp says, doesn't look like we had any injuries. Another bonus. Yeah, he might have been playing them. City Bugger there. Kels, good evening to you, Kels. Hope you're well. We must beat Wolves and Burnley. We must. Sean says, what a result. I'm over the moon. The team fought for each other. I know. Hang on. I clearly missed the clearest, and Darlow missed the clearest chances, and Darlow, the old team fought for each other. The whole team fought for each other. They did. James says, you deserve to win the match. We're still third. I'm not bothered, honestly. We were the better team. You were, James, in the second half. You were not in the first half. And if you think you were in the first half, pal, you're delusional. Go and watch the game again and look at the momentum graph. You were not the better team in the first half. Second half, yes, you were. But you lost. So, enjoy your trip home. Marcello says, praise for Daniel Farke. Got it absolutely right. David O'Doherty says, do we really see Spurs picking up 6 points in the last 6 games? Yeah, but we talked about Leedsy stuff. Do we want to put it to chance, or do you want to just look after what you have to look after, go and do your job, and don't worry about it? Let West Ham, Burnley, and Forest scrap out for it. Look after what we have to look after. I was 17 the last time we won there. When do we start to go fund for our statue? I mean, he's moving it, isn't he? Spurs versus Lincoln next season. Go on, Scoops. Praise the Farka down then. Praise for Farka down then. I'm not sure what that means, Marcel, but very good stuff. Bonnie says, got Amarin sacked and now got Carragher's job. Well done, lads. King Kazma says, will be so nice to head to both Spurs and Hammers knowing it's all done. Let's get it done first. James says, we deserve to win the match. That's the Man United fan again. You didn't deserve anything, quite. Shawnee says, Jer outran his heart out in the first half. He earned the cramp. He was brilliant. They all were. They were. Ponytails mandatory for the whole team going forward. Game defining moment, season possibly defining moment. Karen, hope you're well, Karen, by the way, as well. And David says, anyone know a good exorcist? We've already had enough points. Where are Spurs getting any points from? Paul, I know we're all happy. We're all excited. But if we lose a game and they win a game, all of a sudden everyone's going to panic again. Yeah? So let's just do our job. Do our jobs. Oh, joy of all the joys. What a result. And it backed us. Even Bremner, the dog is buzzing. Great stuff. Sean says, sorry, many fire glasses. I meant DCL missed. I kind of got what you meant, but we got there in the end. Johnny Moore says, this win sets us up for the rest of the season, includes the FA Cup too. 40 points will be the number. I know nothing is certain, but if we actually manage to win the FA Cup, then why are you doing this? Don't do this to yourself. I'm a firm believer in work hard quietly in the background and let your results speak for themselves, right? I'm not a believer in putting stuff out there and saying, this is going to happen, because it always comes back to bite you in the ears. Danny Rumsey, good evening to you, Danny. Hope you're well, pal. Hair pulling for the bedroom. Yep, absolutely is. Don't you know? Pump it up. Leeds we'll finish that in 6 games time, Nick. Mr. Ranthorpe says, Japanese Busquets tonight, Tanaka. It was midfield masterclass. Absolutely. Relegated to Spurs. Ole, ole. Kinga, our destiny is in front of us. Not interested in what. Nailed on. That is the comment of the night. Absolutely nailed on. Just a reminder, folks, if you could hit the like button, that would be hugely on a good night for Leeds. The minimum we could do is hit the like button. It does help the channel to grow and helps the video to get out to more people. So I appreciate you for doing that. Johnny says, still in post-match recovery. Never an easy watch. Now take it to Wolves and build up a cushion. That's what I want to see. James says, nice to see Farka blowing off some steam. Yeah, he did. Drop to his knees at the end. And he deserved it. Right? I've said it all season. Praise and criticize in equal measure. Criticize him when he's making mistakes. Praise him when he's getting it right. He deserves that moment tonight to drop to his knees. Fair play to him. Rick Pay says, we are Leeds and we don't do easy. We really, really don't. Tourists relax. They have a souvenir. Jerry, when is Jerry back on? Tuesday. We're doing tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're back on. And Jerry's been texting me all night. I'm looking forward to his first 4 minutes. Dean Fountain said, I said a couple of Scum fans today that we'd get 12 points from the remaining three and go down to 9 to go. 9-3 down, 9 to go. Sorry. Any balls of that. You just can't. Sorry, you just being to believe it, Jer. It will happen. I'm not going to do it. Thanks, but I'm not going to do it, mate. I love your confidence. I do. But I'll celebrate when it's done. Rick says, right, Jer, lay the weeds, draw no attention to yourself. That's it. Work hard and quiet. Let your results speak for themselves. Judy says, what a result. I don't think we could do that, but we did it. Get in. Absolutely. Kels, beat Wolves, Burnley, and we're safe. That's it. That's it. Go do your jobs. What a result, says Wallens. Hey, you doing, mate? Hope you're well. It's James Wallens, by the way, who helped us out with all of our graphic designs. Studio Wallace, check him out on Instagram. Studio Wallace, go check him out. He does a fantastic job. Yeah, what a result. Big pressure off us. Hopefully, James. Hopefully. Paul Brennan says, let's take the mick when Leeds are totally safe. Things can bite you. Exactly, yeah. Kershaw, good evening to you, mate. Hope you're a good big man. Yeah, come on. Still shaking. What a beautiful win. Were you there tonight, mate? Or are you watching the box with the rest of us? David Speakman says, another Jack Harrison assist tonight for Fiorentina. They might keep him. Jesus, tonight's gone great. Hasn't it? Donny Boy, that team tonight is the way forward. Positive from the start, and we kept going. Well done to Daniel and the lads. Jim, how you doing, Jim, bud? I did laugh at the bemused look on Martinez's face. The gas thing about Martinez was, at no point does he ever look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He just puts his hand out to grab something. He grabs his hair. So, oh dear, what a pity. Never mind. Herbert says, obviously there's a bigger picture, but there is no sweeter 3 points than that. Absolutely. Absolutely. DCL header off the line. Brilliant. And the block straight afterwards. 2 of them. Pierre, Daniel Farke did all the things we've been asking him to do all season. Respect for that. Absolutely. We said change the system. Change the system. We said change the approach. He changed the approach. We said change the players. He changed the players. I was once called delusional for thinking Daniel Farke watches Leeds social media. I don't know anymore now. I you might do a little bit. David says, let's enjoy the night and worry about Wolves tomorrow. Well said, David. Yeah. Sean says, yes, need to calm down. It'll be hard. It was a great night, but Farke was great tonight. Right team, right subs, and they have some fight, but don't make it easy. Yeah, they've got a fight in them, this team. They definitely do. There can be miracles if you believe. Darlow, my man of the match. Kev says kept us in it. Absolutely. The ref had to give the red card for hairballing. It's in the rules. Nick says, we all have the most draws in the league, so 3 draws will do it. That's true as well. TSB, square ball propaganda has the potential to be an all-timer history. Yeah, go check it out. Go check it out when they put it up during the week. In all honesty, it's only the Guinness that gives me the overconfidence. I would love a pint of Guinness right now. Colin Kerr went with a €5 super chat. Thank you, Colin. Really appreciate that. Was on my way to the Camden. Raging I didn't go. Wolves next. And that should be that. Get in, Jer. This has given us a real shot in the arm. It really has, Colin. Probably be in the Camden for some of the big games in the next couple of weeks as well. Especially the FA Cup semi-final. Don't think I'm going to get to it. Soul Surfer says, we need to go and win the rest. Make a statement. Karasik. Eric says, let's enjoy it, but keep our heads. Very, very, very common sense approach there. It's 3 points that we weren't expecting, but there's Wolves at home are next. Focus on that. Don't let this 3 point be meaningless by dropping points. Very, very well said. Carr claims a foul for the first goal, and the hair pull was not a red card. No one cares, but yes, thanks, Steve, for letting me know that. But yeah, so what? We don't care about him, but you're right. DCL is good in nets, ain't he? He's not bad, is he? Either end of the park. They kept the ball at the net both sides of the pitch today. You could say that. I'm joking. Brian says, I want to see ponytails on every player next season. Carr crying and blaming the officials for losing, but we've been there all season, so there you go. Taste of our medicine. Great team performance, says Karen. Steve Whitesnake, good afternoon to you, my friend. Enjoy the moment, but back at it tomorrow. Carrick is not taking this well. Carrick, what a loser. He didn't take it well when we beat him with Middlesbrough either. What a beautiful day. The whole weekend has gone great. Fantastic. Right, there's so many comments. I'm not going to get through them. Ayub Jer watched it in the South Atlantic with Brazil commentary. Oh, can you imagine the Brazilian commentary on those goals? That'll be wicked. That'll be great. It was a Stitch. It was Stitch that did it. Yeah, Stitch made an appearance on the pre-show Paul earlier on. So, yeah, great to see. And it's been Christmas since a bub, but just enjoying one now, trying to relax. Enjoy the drink. Enjoy the drink. Juggler, who knew Everton played DCL so wrong all these years? He's not there to score goals. He's there to prevent them. Bless him. And his hair and his head. Yep. And then Basil being awesome first half. Feels like we sat back in the second and played into United's hands, Manchester United's hands. Let the game get stretched, but buzzing that we got the 3 points. Yeah, we did. And I think as we wrap up, I think you got to put yourself in those players' shoes. There's a lot of championship players that played in the championship the last 2 years in that team and longer. And to go into that second half winning 2-0, it's going to be in the back of your head if we need to hold on to this. We need to hold on to this. We need to hold on to this. And it's understandable they're going to drop off a little bit. But, it's good. Bowie says, it was another good watch. Very open game. It was. Look, we're going to wrap it up there, folks. Huge thank you for everyone who's joined us tonight on the watch along, on the pre-show, and on this as well. We will be back tomorrow morning with the Leeds United news. At the podcast out tomorrow night as well with Jerry and Paul to digest all of that. I can imagine Jerry's reaction is going to be fantastic. But yeah, as I've said tonight 4 million times, massive result. If you could hit the like button on your way out the door, that would be massively appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing for daily Leeds news, instant match reactions, podcasts, and the odd tactical breakdown. Outside of that, have a great rest of your night. Enjoy this. I will see you tomorrow morning. Enjoy your evening. See ya.